This is David Gawley from Pentagon Solutions, and we're taking a look at the second part of our Autodesk Revit Architecture 2012 detailed presentation. And the two areas I want to look at this part is a quick look at the roof and using groups to create objects like room layouts. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it out to my parapet level. I'm going to window tile WT, and I'm going to add a roof in. So I'm simply going to go to Home, Roof. I'm going to do it by footprint. I can pick the type of roof I want, just keep that generic 125, and I'm going to tab over the inside. Now I want a flat roof. A common mistake in Revit is that you put the slopes in by mistake, you hit the finish button. You can see it's added on a slope roof. It's not the type I want. You simply edit, select the roof, go to Edit Footprint, hover over a magenta line, hit the tab key, left click to pick up, and then take the slope off, and then you can finish that out, and again you can see there's our flat roof. So again, if I've got it in the wrong position, which I have in this case, I need to pop that down the top of parapet, top of steel. Very easy to do. You can hit apply and it will pop it down the appropriate position. So this particular roof, I need the water to run off either internally or externally and down to a drainage system here, so I might need to edit the slopes. So we can simply do this by modifying what's called sub-elements, or we can add in points or split lines. Now, I'm just going to generically, just for the sake of a presentation, add in some point lines in here. So I'm going to add a point here. I'm going to add another point in. So we'll see that we physically have a couple points on the screen. Over in this area in here, we can edit these points. So we can go to Modify Sub-Elements, physically click. We can say, well, that needs to be 100 mil off, so I'm actually physically, that'll take that 100 mil off the ground. And it depends on how the actual slab is physically being created as well. Will have an impact whether it's being applied to the screed or whether it's being applied to all layers in there. So again, I'm just going to pick up my roof, modify sub-elements. You can see we can physically pick up there, type in 100, the last one will change, we'll type in 100. And again, you can see the actual physical lines going in and across there. If I do a section to this so we can see it in more level of detail, let's take a quick section. Going from here, we'll crop the dialog box down a wee bit, double click, and you can see my slope being applied. So it's a powerful editing feature in Revit. Okay, let's have a look at doing some of the rooms. So we'll say this is a hotel design layout. And what I want to do is actually add in some structural or some architectural columns in here and split this out into room areas. In my ground floor view, I'm going to take this to a fine level of detail so we can see this a bit clearer. And I'm going to simply add in my architectural column. What you'll notice when I add in my architectural column, it'll actually comply with the block work. So you can see in here it'll trace around the block work. So I'm going to put a column casement around that. You can see there's no material being added into that, but we'll come back to that later on. Again, what I can do is add a wall in, so I'm going to go to Wall. I'm going to pick up on my standard block wall. I'm going to make sure it's tied into my top of steel and create from point to point. Again, you can see now that my column has updated for the material of the wall. So we're going to select these elements and simply go to Copy. And we'll copy this at multiple increments going along. So these are going to be the room layouts for our hotel. I just got a couple more tweaks to do. So we'll go in, add our architectural column in here, roughly tie that in, and we'll do the same here. And we'll do the same at this end. And same here. Okay, lastly, I'm going to select one of the walls, right click, and go Create Similar. And let's create this wall going all the way across, and again, this will tie into our casework here against our structural columns, and you see all the joins are nice and neat. Okay, if I have a room physical layout to do, I would do one layout first. So I'm going to start with some partition walls. I'm going to pick up my 75mm stud. So I've got a wardrobe area in here. and we're going to have a bathroom area in here. I'm going to add in a couple standard doors. Again, just pick this doors from the family, from the library. Get a couple of positions there. If there's a door I want to add in, so I'm going to load a family. I'm just going to use my American list in here. I'm just going to go straight to doors. You can see there's a bifold panel, so I could simply add that in here and say, look, that's my wardrobe area, like so. So I'm ready to kit this room out in a bit more level of detail. Again, you can see the automatic number for the doors coming into place. So in here we're going to place some components. So my components I've already loaded into my template. So first one off is a freestanding bath. Again, you can see that I'm going to need to probably change the position of that door. It's a bit tight, but we can do that as an afterthought. Let's add in the likes of our sink. Hit the space bar, change rotation. We'll add the sink in. We'll add in the toilet. Again, hit the space bar. And I'm going to add in the plasma TV over here. So I've got a couple of other items that will make this up. So we'll go to the chair first. Hit the space bar. We'll add in the bed. Again, hitting the space bar, change orientation, and we'll pick up the plasma TV. Okay, so we're kitting out the room again. Hit the space bar, the tie-in. So I'm just going to change some properties in here because I want that offset to be 1.5 meters off the ground. I need my sink to be around 1 meter off the ground. Again, we can apply that in here. My door position, again, we can change these. If you're familiar with Revit, you'll have a good understanding of this. So we've got the typical room layout that I want. Again, I can view this in a section view. I can create a quick section through. So I'll go back into my ground. Let's create a quick section through here. Let's change the scope box. And on my 3D views, I'm going to right click and duplicate the view. When it goes to it, I'm going to right click on my view cube, orient the view, sections, and take it to my section view 3. So you can see in here my section. Again, you can see my crop box, and what I can do is pick it up, use the little drop down, again have a look at a closer level of detail of my room and see that's the kit out physically that I want. Not that's acceptable, that's the way I want it. A couple other details I physically want to add in here. I want to put in a patio or balcony area, so I'm going to add my door in. I'm going to load one from my family. We're going to pick up doors, and I'll pick up that conceptual door, say like a patio door. We'll put that in position and we go to the outside. And what I want to do here is actually put a slab in. So I'm going to go to my floor. I'm going to edit the type, so we're going to create a duplicate of this, and I'm just going to simply add this as a 150 millimeter slab. We can edit the actual structure of it, so I'm going to take off all the other structural elements such as the insulation, etc. I'm just going to say this is a simple slab. It's 150 mil and it has a 25 mil screed, so I'm going to say 25 mil. It's 150 mil, and hit OK, and hit OK. And we're going to use some line work to actually detail the slab out. So again, we can type in distances in here. I'm going to type in say 750 and pop that out, say 1200. Again, we can take this across. I can make that meet at the end. Any points that I want to tie in the existing slab, I can simply drag them along into position, and again I can change any of the distances in here. We can actually adjust this very easily, or type in the distance. So once I'm finished, I'm going to hit finish on it. So I've got my patio area, but I need to cordon this off with my railing, so I'm going to go to railing. I'm going to go to pick lines, and let's give this an offset of 100 mil. So using my slab, I'm actually going to use this as an offset to put in my pipe railing and hit finish. So let's take a quick look at that in our section view. Again, you can see our layout of our slab there. Let's change the crop box so we can see it a wee bit further. And one last detail I'm going to add into this is I'm going to add a balcony in. So let's pop around, and on the balcony area I want to actually do a roof. So if I want to model this roof element, we can add this in as a model in place. Let's pick up the actual category. That's quite important, particularly if we were going to schedule this information out, and I'm going to call this my custom roof. For this I'm going to use some extrusion, some of the solid modelling. I'm going to set the work plane by picking it up. So you don't need to know an awful lot about 3D. I'm going to say this is simple extrusion. Let's put the extrusion in here. I'm going to offset that by picking lines, and we'll make that offset by 100 mil. Again, I'm going to add some manual lines in, change my offset again so these ends tie in, because I need the physical ends to tie in for my extrusion. And again, I can pop that down. You can see how it's tying in, and we can use commands that we're fairly used to, the likes of mirror. So we're going to mirror that. Again, let's pick up in the midpoint here, and we'll mirror that down so it ties in nicely at that end. We can finish it. We can simply stretch that out before we commit to the model and finish again. So that's our generic roof created. So I've got the necessary layouts that I want. Well, I'm going to go back into my ground floor. And if I want to group all these together, I'm going to select the elements up. So I'm going to pick up my stud walls, I'm going to pick up my bathroom, my existing walls, any other elements, etc. in there that I want to use, including my door, and I'm going to pick up my slab as well. Now I'm going to do a mistake in here. I'm not going to pick up my roof, but I'm just going to show how easy this is to change. And let's pick up that door. And simply with those elements together, we want to group. So we can actually go and create a group of this. So the group's going to be called Room Layout 1, like so. Okay, I'm ready to copy that room layout, so I'm going to copy. We're going to do multiple copies along each room. Let's copy it from position to position, like so. So I'm using the group in here, but this group is very adaptable. We can change it and make duplications of it, as we'll see in a minute. The mistake I did earlier on is I left out the actual balcony roof, so, as you can see. So this is how powerful it is to change a group. You simply select the actual group element, you go to edit group, and we're going to add in this roof. I'm going to finish it out, and you'll see all the other group elements will physically update. It's given me a soft warning in there about elements being removed. That's fine, it hasn't actually taken any out. And again, you can see it's updated all those groups. But we might want to change the physical layout of one individual room. So what we can do is make a copy of the group. So in a project browser, we can scroll down and look for groups. There's room layout 1. We can make a copy of that. So we can actually duplicate this out. So you can see room layout 2. So if I pick one of the existing rooms, let's change that room layout to room layout 2. Let's physically edit the arrangement of this. So I'm going to say edit group. So maybe we might want to change the chair position. Again, use our spacebar. We might want to move the bed across, like so. Use our spacebar to change the actual physical layout of the room. Maybe have an opposite hand, etc. in there. So let's move these positions, like so. I will change that room layout. I'm going to simply hit finish. So you can see in here that I've got a physical variation of my room. So I can select my actual other groups that I may want to change, and I can say, well look, let's make this room layout 2. So physically change the room layout in there. And again, you'll get to see that will physically update. One of the areas that I haven't tied up is my wall in here. You can see that it hasn't tied in my stud. Again, that's very easy to change. We can edit the group, pick up the member. Because it's a stud wall, we'll tie in like so. Again, we can finish that up, and that should update all our other members. So you can see in here I've got my group 1 and group 2. For my first group in here, again you can see the opposite layout. Again, we can simply change it. So if I've made a mistake, as I have in this case, that's because of the wall tying into the cavity. I'm going to hit finish, and again it will update. So we've got two different room arrangements in here as shown. two different layouts, and again we can swap those all out. I can change all these to room layout 1 or room layout 2. It's a very powerful method to use groups. We've also looked at the roof detail in there and how we can actually modify custom elements such as roofs on the fly. Watch out for the next video. We'll take this a wee bit further into more design elements. Thanks for listening.